watching Omnis Protocol. I am Charles, and I am back with another Shatterpoint Battle Report from Adepticon. Joining me is the stickiest of bugs, Jake from Reppin' Momentous Struggle crew. Do you get to...
I'm wearing a Diamondback shirt right now, unfortunately.
There's a Star Wars reference in there somewhere. Are you officially Momentous Struggle crew? Like, do you get to rep Momentous Struggle, or are you
I don't know.
a pitch hitter?
I'm part of the stream team for sure.
Yeah.
We'll have Todd comment about it.
Yeah.
Below,
Todd
right?
Todd will let us know. Like, are you on like the starting lineup, or are you reserve crew? I don't know, but you guys did a fantastic job doing all of the stream shit at Adepticon, and I was happy to record some stuff that you guys were not streaming. But absolutely, if anybody is watching this and you want to check out more videos, check out the Momentous Struggle channel, and you can go back and you can watch their games with play-by-play. Before we dig into this one, do you have a favorite game? Like, if someone's like going to go check out the Momentous Struggle channel from Adepticon, would you have like hey, go watch this game because that one was amazing?
We were just talking about this. Personally, I think it was because I was there and I was in the producer chair for the game. I got to watch the interaction between Dean and Duncan, and they are
the brothers. Yeah.
So it's like watching them play was like watching me and Nick play. So it was like I adore having like the brotherly love. I think that's so fun. And I think part of it, like, it didn't show up well on stream, but how they picked their squads was they shuffled them up and then they each picked two. So it was just like, it was just a fun, just another game for them. That was fun. A lot of fun.
Oh, I know Dean Icemyn was asking people about that every game. Do you want to just shuffle up and we'll take what we get? And so
that's fun.
Interesting. All right. I will say, if you're watching the channel and you want to support me, the number one thing that I need at this moment is subscriptions. We're maybe at this point, I think I need about 125 or so to hit the next level of YouTube partnership, and that's all I need. I have the watch time with all this Adepticon stuff, so just a subscription would be a huge help. So if you're watching this and you're just like, man, I'm so happy that these guys took the time to do this, subscription, please. I love you.
How about you do it, or I'll cry?
Yeah, don't make Jake cry. He is a grown-ass man, and I use that term lightly. But yes, let's dig into this game. Sure. I want to get right into it, so we'll talk about the lists as things go.
Okay. Works for me.
So
who do we have playing on this game?
Yeah, so it is Commander Redwolf on the left, who's got Luke Skywalker and Cassian. And then on the right side, it is Dean, a.k.a. Icemyn, playing Mundi and Koon. Koon, Jake.
I'm a fan of. I am a big fan of this list.
Yes. This is hype.
I'm a big fan of this list. I was playing something similar before the errata last year, and though Plo could use a little bit of work on his identity, I think this list has a lot of legs, especially if you're running like Padawan Ahsoka. Having heard get the discounted abilities, if she's wounded, she's within range 3 of herself, so she's able to use her jump and get an extra dice attack after a support. She's able to do that while wounded, and it's still free. So that's a fun little piece I love about this list. Having as much force as you do with those two plus Shakti, it's like endless shenanigans there. The other thing that I love seeing on the table is Luke. The one thing that we've been waiting for forever was to get a 3-point rebellion secondary that doesn't have the name of Luke Skywalker, so that way Luke had more options to work with. So
he's so
I'm excited
happy to have
how
Bodhi.
this list together.
Yeah. All right, so we see Icemyn here. He has pulled the 501st card, and it looks like he is just going with the hunker and move plan. And so we're seeing him go trying to take both sides. which I really like as an opener. Puts a lot of pressure. Last time I played in a GT, I did bring Sabotage because I felt like my list was good at taking both of the side points.
Mm-hmm.
And so this can be just such a strong opening, and I like getting it out there. And I'm really psyched to see this list just in general. I mean, we'll talk about Commander Redwolf's list more as we go as well. But I think in this world where everybody was really concerned about Boss and Cassian, seeing Icemyn bring this list, and he's rated number 1 coming out of the first day. So in the top 8, he had the highest rank in Longshanks. So he wasn't submarining. He was doing very well with this.
Yeah. And I think something else that I remember about his roster, if I'm not mistaken, he's the only person that didn't bring either Boss or Cassian in his entire list. So it proves that, yes, they are a little bit of a problem child right now, but it doesn't mean your list needs to involve them to do well. So I think that's really cool that he was able to get that done, especially going number 1 on the day.
I do want to shout out Scott, the prior world champion. I believe he ended up getting 9th overall, so he just barely missed top cut, but he did not have Boss or Cassian as well. And I think he just went 3-1 and just was like a hair actually below Commander Redwolf was, I believe, number 8. And so Commander Redwolf just barely knocked him out. But all right, so we see the 501st just, basically hunker, defensive maneuver, walk, and end up contesting both side points. And so that he's not scoring any points yet, but that starts him off strong where he's controlling 4 objectives. And then we've got Commander Redwolf over here. He pulls Callus. And this is obviously, I don't think, the optimal pull by any means. I think you're obviously preferring Shatterpoint or your supports to kind of put big pressure here.
Mm-hmm.
But
especially with
can't
someone,
reserve really.
Especially with someone like Callus, having an activation where he can spend a force in a very force conscious list. It's a risky early pull. And putting him in reserve is just going to put you at a detriment because he's going to be providing 1 less reroll for the team, right? When you're looking at him, you want to have as impactful as an activation as you can with doing as little time possible.
Yeah. So we see Callus takes his free dash, then he moves towards the 501st. It looks like he doesn't quite quite get within range 2, which is a little sad.
Yeah.
So nice placement by Dean. I think it's always really interesting, like how close you get to an objective versus how far back you stay to protect hunkers. And I think this positioning really was great for him.
Yeah, I think one thing that I usually try to do is with those weaker bodies, especially the clones and their fantastic defensive expertise, is I usually try to just contest the objective, but at a safe point where it's really hard to get me shoved off. Yeah. So I think it's like he found the perfect medium of where he wanted to be.
Yeah. So Callus needed to go 2 down for double shoves. He was going to have a crit and 3 hits versus 3 blocks. So he elected to spend a force to do rerolls, which did get him another crit, which allowed him to get the double shove because the still hunkered 501st had steadfast and he needed to take that point. Like, obviously you've got to spend that force. I do think there's a conversation, right? Like, the interesting thing about spending for rerolls is you could do it if you need it, but it's always a question with Callus, right? Do you spend for like the focus and sharpshooter, in advance, or do you just like only go for the rerolls, which can be a little bit more risky? So
I personally, in that situation, would opt for the other one, where I would get extra dice at the beginning, because you're just going to have a better odds in most cases. And yeah, you can get rerolls, but those rerolls are going to be taking away results, whether they be fails or expertise. And you really have to kind of figure out what's the math behind wanting to do a reroll. I only got the Thrawn box for Christmas, which was about 4 months ago now. But I hadn't played Callus before then, and so discovering and trying to figure out when do I want to use those rerolls is really kind of a science that I'm not used to in this game yet.
I agree with you. I think taking that initial, just roll more dice, because if you do not hit that, that's so bad. Like if Callus moves up, only gets one shove and does not shove the 501st off the point, that's awful.
Yeah.
Now,
yep, absolutely.
I will say, I feel like there was a big miss there. He should have double shoved himself forward to take away the hunker.
True.
Right?
That could be very useful for later.
Yeah, like having them sit double hunkered for a list that really wants to shoot, I think not taking the double shove with him is a big deal. But so Icemyn pulls Ahsoka Padawan, and she is just going for hunker, jump, move, and
just kind of securing that top objective.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to bring up about potentially shoving Callus into removing those hunkers is you got to remember part of the rebellion game plan is putting yourself on the back foot. That's actually where you get the most advantage. Like gameplay wise, you don't want to be on the back foot, but there's a lot of revenge triggers and a lot of stuff that ticks off from you getting wounded, right? So putting your team into a disadvantageous position is actually sometimes more helpful. I know that was really like the advice that I would give people when you were playing Kanan before, where it's like, hey, you got to remember, you're okay with your guys getting hurt. That's where Kanan starts to thrive,
Yeah.
So in a situation like this, when you're running Cassian, putting Callus up there in a risky position, the only thing that you're risking is making your rerolls more expensive. But I think that's also part of your game plan as you're sending him there.
Yeah. So, Commander Redwolf pulled Bodhi here. And this is actually where a deployment choice is really interesting. Where if it hadn't been for the positioning of that Republic commando, he probably could have just climbed directly up. And been in a better position where maybe he could dash himself up to engage Ahsoka.
Sure. Yeah.
And this is where like some of the subtle deployment things where you got to think about like where your guys potentially would need to go. So
yep, there is some subtlety to that, especially when trying to get something like this set up. Something that I know from playing a lot of Republic is you want to like set up and spread out your web of guys, right? And that's very a classic like Republic approach to the game. You have to walk into the game knowing exactly what your game plan is. Like if you have a slower character, maybe you want to place them on this side of the objective so that way things are a little bit easier to get to. Setting the rebel commandos up in that way has kind of blocked off a climb.
So what we saw there was Bodhi just, he spent the force to dash Luke. Luke is not a spy, so Bodhi does not get the dash himself. He does a full advance, shoots at Ahsoka. Ahsoka has too many blocks with the hunker, does nothing, but he rolled a fail, so he takes 2 damage. I got to admit, I don't like that Bodhi play. I really would like to have seen something better out of that play, but I think Rebels is not happy when they're pulling back-to-back secondaries to start off the game.
Absolutely. And those secondary units are just so pivotal to the game. I was looking at it earlier. We have 42 primary units. We have 42 supporting units, but there are 49 secondary units in the game. And I think
Bounty Hunter box, baby. Bounty Hunter box.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I think part of why that's so important to note is that secondaries can sometimes be the most impactful unit in the game. And I bring up 3 more options. Bo-Katan, Commander Rex, and the Death Trooper Escort are usually some of the most talked about units and most frequently brought with their factions. So I think those units prove the fact that secondaries are so important. So pulling them early is very, very rough.
Yeah. All right, so Icemyn, he pulled Mundi. He puts Mundi into reserve, pulls Shaak Ti. Shaak Ti dashes the 501st back onto the point, but is staying out of range. And then
She does a classic take cover move.
Shakti jumps. They check range to see if she can walk past that maintenance bay top. Cannot, so she elects to hunker forward and then walk down. And then does not position for a force repulse there, and just takes the point by bodying and passes turn to score 4. And then we've got Commander Redwolf pulls Rebel Commandos.
Yeah, this is where we go back to what you were saying about wanting like the perfect Bodhi activation, where you're able to walk up and potentially strip those hunkers away from Ahsoka. And now she's sitting on the objective ready to go, and we're going to toss 2 more ranged attacks at her with the potential of her getting a better potential of deflect going off, because the commandos are using their ability to get more dice. So you've got even more chances for them to get a deflect, and she's got more chances to block. Like, this is a very rough position to be in.
Yeah. So I think what I would have liked to have seen there was have the Rebel Commandos just advance into range to take away her hunkers, and have the other one move towards the 501st on the far side. Then defensive maneuver, move the one just outside of range of her, so that then he gets to still shoot, but she will not have the hunkers anymore. And have the other one be trying to shove that 501st off. Obviously, since the 501st has double hunkers, it's tough.
Yeah.
But I think there was a potential play there to try to score 4.
No, I 100% agree with you. And if they took the time to full advance, there's also a good chance that they are able to strip both the hunkers from Ahsoka and the 501st. So there is a very good chance that could happen. So
yeah,
I am right there with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Redwolf is a fantastic player, but like there is so often that like hunkers don't matter in a lot of games unless you're playing against Obi. And so but I'm just seeing a couple spots here where I really would have liked to see him try to strip away the hunkers from Dean. And that just sometimes those very small missed opportunities can make the difference in a game when you're talking about people on the skill level of these two guys. You don't want to give a player like Dean any additional advantages because he's really fucking good at this game.
I mean, something that I was saying when commentating the games in Milwaukee was, man, if you make one mistake, it's almost like it's all over for you. Yeah. That kind of thing is going to be your big detriment.
Yeah. All right, so Commander Redwolf scored 3 points because he did take the point from Ahsoka, and then Icemyn has elected to not activate Ki-Adi-Mundi, which makes sense, and he pulls the Republic Commandos, which I think is a really interesting choice for this list because my gut would have been to bring the 212th in that slot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, something of note that I think we forgot to mention. Ahsoka got wounded off that attack. So, though we didn't get rid of her hunkers earlier, I mean, Rebel Commandos are going to be all reliable in that moment.
Yes.
The Republic Commandos, I agree. I would normally see the 212th here, but I think what we want out of them is getting a little extra damage on our saber wielders, so that way it's easier to get some of those one-shot wounds that they should be used to.
Hit those breakpoints. Yeah, I mean, I think the debate between those two characters is really interesting because I've had games with both of them where they just fall short, but then had games where they both excel. Coordinated Fire Pin is so good, especially against Cassian.
The thing that you're also looking at with the Republic Commandos is the ability to scale, and that works in tandem with Plo Koon's identity. Or not identity, excuse me.
Yeah.
Plo Koon's tactic ability, where he's able to move the troopers, so they could actually get a little bit of motion when normal troops wouldn't be able to.
For sure. So they're putting some damage. Looks like they get a wound on the Republic Commandos. I think we had a deflect from Ahsoka that softened them up.
Mm-hmm.
And that allows them to get a wound, which then he's going to dash Ki-Adi-Mundi further forward, which really, really solid play there. You notice they both dashed up their Jedi, right? Like
Yep.
they've both taken opportunities. I think both of these players have been through the situations where their Jedi is just a little too far away. And these tables do not have a ton of ingress points. So you
No.
often can't milk that extra movement in the way that you maybe could at your LGS.
Yeah, these Adepticon tables are brutal with the amount of ladders that they have. There's so very few. We have built-in ones on both the high ground and the maintenance bay. We have a tall one on the tower in the top right there, and we have, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you look at it.
Unforgiving.
You look at this table, right? There's a maintenance bay, a high ground tower, and then it's basically all the terrain from the core set.
Mm-hmm.
But it is not even using as many ladders as what comes in the core set, and then there's more terrain than the core set, right?
Yeah.
To give you an idea of like, this is kind of ingress point light.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm kind of about it. I want to start playing games with a little bit less ingress points. It really makes you be deliberate and controlled about what you are doing on your turns.
Yep. So we do see Ahsoka elect to jump up, which I thought was interesting. That's one where I'm like, is it just trying to take up the area around the objective?
I think it stripped away their hunkers as well. Though they did just get wounded, you never know if you're going to want to attack them for a couple things on your tree to get a little benefit. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. Commander Redwolf has pulled Cassian.
It's hard to go wrong with Cassian in here.
Yeah. I mean, because Shakti did not repulse away Callus, I know obviously from the position that he chose, he couldn't, but there was definitely a world where he could have repulsed Cassian off the point. I think because of that and Callus still being on the point means that Cassian has a very good shot to just go over there and take that point.
Mm-hmm. He could walk up, take a shot at the 5-0 first. And in fact, what he could do is spend the force, need to blend in. Him and Callus both move. You move Callus, take away the 5-0 first hunker, and then Cassian walks in, takes a shot at them, and then shoves himself into range and outbodies on the point.
No, what I would like to see, dash Luke so that he can hit that first ingress point and be on that objective.
True.
On that level, and get Cassian over there, shove that 5-0 first off the point. And
yeah, I mean, we got two different options there, but the option that we got chosen was put him in reserve and save him for later.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that says something about the pressures of the situation of being in the top 8, where now you have to look at what you have in front of you, but you also have to know that if you lose, you're out. So you've spent this time and this money to get here, and now your opportunity is done. So there can be a little bit of panic setting in some of those situations, and it happens to everyone, happens to all of us.
Yeah.
So seeing the opportunity arise, maybe we saw something that he didn't in that moment.
Well, I mean, he might just be nervous because of the steadfast, right? Like, what are the actual odds that Cassian is going to go far enough down to double shove?
Mm-hmm.
But this is a little bit of a consequence of not taking the opportunity to get rid of those hunkers when he had the chance.
Yeah. Yep. Often the foreshadowing of something like this will come to play.
So he is kind of sending the Baze and Chirrut opposite directions, kind of spreading out the love.
Mm-hmm.
I was confused at first why I was trying to figure out why Commander Redwolf was still controlling the top, but I think it's because Bodhi is on the same level as that Republic Commando, and so even though he killed the two Rebel Commandos, they didn't actually flip the point over there.
Yeah, that could be the case. I'm not exactly sure where he is. That's the the struggle part about this top down only view. When on the streams that we had an angled camera as well, so we could get a peek on what's going on under the terrain sometimes.
Yeah, I elected to not set up a side camera and just did dice cam to have a straight down shot. I was getting annoyed of like a slightly angled view of the dice. And I was like, I wasn't sure how much editing I was going to do to all these Adepticon videos.
That's 100% valid.
Yeah.
I am just criticizing what you have given me. That's all.
Yes. But yeah, it looks like Bodhi's base is sticking out underneath that gantry. That was the part I missed initially.
Got it.
So looks like we got 4 damage plus expose on the 501st, meaning they're going to have 3 health left.
Not bad.
Yep.
Whittling them down.
Yep.
It makes you wonder if like that could have happened as well on a Cassian activation, but at least with this one, as you had said prior, we want to get those rebel supports out on the field actually doing something real quick.
Yep.
And now that they're out and moving, Baze and Shurit are providing exactly what you need for an activation, affecting 2 points at once.
All right. So I think we're going to have a wound
on them
here
as well. So that does it, huh? Hey, you want to pause this real quick? You are muted. You have not been saying anything.
Oh, I muted myself because I needed to sneeze. Yeah, so what I was just trying to say there is he ends up only leaving him with 1 health, does not go far enough down, which is, again, I think, a side effect of not taking away those hunkers when you had the chance, where he only needed 1 more step on either attack.
Yep. And that's rough, especially knowing that you had put the expose on them. The rolls are not helping you in there. You can sometimes blame the game on variance, but moments like that, that's where it's like we could have taken away their hunkers earlier and they would have much less chance of surviving.
Yep, like just that little bit extra pressure. And especially when you're playing against a Republic list, right, with no revenge triggers. Mm-hmm. Right, that you just have them in a spot where the wound is only of benefit to you. I mean, I guess it potentially turns on Kiadi Mundi force discounts, but all right. So it looks like we're gonna have a Kiadi Mundi turn now,
and this is an even sadder point where, depending on where Kiadi Mundi puts himself, he could actually just walk up, smack something, and pass off all the heals that he wants to, and then keep those 501st nice and healthy.
Yeah.
And this, I think, just shows right here, after that move, what you had said about potentially with that Cassian activation moving Luke up onto that point. It just got stolen right out from under him.
Yeah, Luke could have very easily been up there and maybe even could have pinned himself where Kiadi Mundi wasn't in range to force push before the movement, and maybe would struggle to get the right angle and be able to go up the ladder afterwards.
Just shows the power of all these Jedi if they get a little bit of the speed boost that they're looking for.
Dude, 2 thoughts. 1, force push, so much fun. Like whenever you get to force push is so good. I love that range 3 tool that Commander Redwolf is using. I don't love that particular set, but that range 3, that's the Vader force choke. Good.
Oh yeah. I now have the new set that was there at Adepticon. The range 3 tool it's Luke, Leia, Han, and Chewie
Yeah.
like running away. Oh man, I love the new set of tools.
See, I like I got the set that Dean is using, the Mando set, the Bounty
Oh,
Hunter
yeah.
set. So you get the flamethrower range 3 is almost as good as the Vader Force Choke, but I think I prefer the rest of that set over the rest. You got, Boba's blaster, you got the vibro knife.
Yeah.
God, I'm trying to remember what the range 4 is.
It's the whistling
birds.
birds.
It's the whistling birds.
Yeah. I think the Mando set was really cool. I personally haven't. I never got those ones. I was very close. I almost did, but I will forever blame that the not making that level of the GT on my brother and Samson, my other play partner.
It's definitely his fault.
100%.
All right, so here is where, again, we're seeing the kind of consequences of the decisions, right? Where now he can't do Cassian because Cassian's a bad activation because he's flipped that point with Baze and Chirrut. So now he ends up being forced to do Luke, and Luke's in a spot where he's got a bad activation.
Yep.
Right? Because he got force pushed away, now he's kind of in this awkward spot where, like, how exactly is he going to try to have this, have a good impact on, on this Kiadi Mundi play with that, like, fucking Nook, right? I feel like sometimes that Nook in the, I've seen people say that you, like, can't stand there. I'm like, what are you talking about? But
it's a level surface.
Yeah. But it can really create complications in these situations.
Mm-hmm. They're definitely trying to figure out where can Luke stand.
I like this play. He's going to climb up, use the ladder to come down. Very creative. That I like a lot. That's good tech.
Now that's some tech. I like that a lot.
Now, I do think there's a world where he climbs down and he's kind of under that top gantry, and he'd probably have a shove angle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because if you're looking at the screen, if he's basically like an inch higher on the screen, he could still be within range 1 of that ladder and probably have a shove angle on Kiadi there.
100%. It is a tough angle to get to, like you said. Like that Nook right there is the bane of most players' existence. As soon as you are locked in there, you are not moving.
But let's keep in mind, obviously, like, I'm trying to critique. I'm trying to, like, one of the feedback I get the most from, like, my locals and such is that they love the videos because they end up feeling like there's coaching and analysis, and they just learn so much from the games. But I want to give absolute credit to these guys. Like, I'm not trying to, like, pick on Commander Redwolf. He's an absolutely fantastic player, and this is Sunday of Worlds.
Yeah, Sunday of Worlds, and may we remind you, they made top 8.
Yes.
So, like, the things that we're talking about right here
stressed, like, I get to sit in my comfy chair examining things where in the moment, and I got top-down view, which also can help. Like, you may not even think about that angle.
Yeah.
From his position.
Yeah, and especially with these Adepticon tables, there is no room between for you guys to look at these, like, the top and bottom sides of this map right now. So they only have the angles that each end can see. So it's definitely rough, because I know when I'm playing my games at home, I love swarming every side of the table that Nick has at his place, because now we can see every angle 1,000%.
Yep. So Pols Plo Koon, he only needs 4 points to take the struggle. He's currently controlling 3. So there's a lot of places where he could take a point here.
Yeah. Especially, as long as you're working yourself properly, you can get the cheap force push right now. He hasn't been wounded, so you can get a force push for just 1. which is very clever. So as long as he gets in range of Ahsoka, he might be able to work something out.
Yep. So he is going to coordinated fire strain. So Plo Koon into Baze, I think. So 3 crits going through. He's trying to decide if he wants raw damage or if he wants to get some healing on the 501st. Yeah. This is again, not trying to pick on Commander Redwolf, but this is like not taking away the hunkers means that they then not are wounded. Now he's taking in a free strain, which, he wouldn't, which I don't think Dean would want to be spending the force for if he didn't, if he didn't have to. Right. And so like it is interesting how like very, very small things, can escalate over the course of the game. And it's just like, it's cascading is the word that I wanted.
Yeah. It's very much a domino effect going on right now.
100%. Domino's Supreme Pizza with a pepperoni,
Oh man. The amount of times that after a stream, Austin and I walked across the street and picked up a $10 any size, any topping Domino's pizza. Oh my.
And you didn't bring me one? You didn't get me one, Jake? I thought we were bros.
Look, they wouldn't let us bring it into the thing. They were like, look, you can bring in like a bottle or a small like sandwich, sure. But an entire pizza box? Come on, man. That's like I think the conversation they had with Aubrey.
Yes. No, I came down. I brought Todd down so that he could get pizza.
Oh man. You know what?
Okay.
Now I'm hungry. I kind of want some pizza.
All right, we're doing Domino's after this.
All right.
Okay, so that is going to wrap up the struggle there.
Town is ready to blow. That is this seems like a fair and balanced way to use the ability. I think they're just trying to figure out where they want to go on the card flip, and neither situation looks very promising for Redwolf here.
Yeah, so what they're talking about now is that 501st had specifically positioned to be within range 2, and they think that he got bumped slightly when Plo Koon was moving over there since he was just barely in, but Dean had definitely declared that, and so Commander Redwolf was like, yeah, you said that, so they're just kind of verbalizing where he's thinking about like, oh fuck, how do I unpack this Republic conundrum that I'm in at the moment?
I mean, this is like part of the reason that I loved playing this list so much. I think the only thing that I had changed out was I did 2/12 over Commandos, but that's because I had Commandos under Obi, so they could get all their protection shenanigans. Anyway, part of the reason I love this list is you have people swarming the board, and you have Padawan Ahsoka there in place of someone like Rex or Wolf, because Plo Koon can also use his identity or his tactic on her as well, which is like another movement option, and both him and Ki-Adi-Mundi having 3 options to choose from for their tactic ability is incredible. They're already moving just as much as Mace Windu. Add on to the fact that they're providing some incredible options for mobility, and that amount of motion is nothing to shrug about because it's happening twice a deck for at least one of them.
Yep. You know, I do think there's a really interesting world where, because I don't think the Republic commandos are super essential, you could probably run Arfs and Nadar. Not as much synergy with Plo Koon,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that would be a very interesting version of this. And I think Nadar is a little underrated. I think that guy does more work than you expect.
I agree. I think he's actually a pretty decent piece, but he kind of runs into the issue of the Republic has so many options.
Yes,
right?
for sure.
And it makes it tough. It's like, all right, if he's a 5, that means I'm not rocking Shak Ti, you know? So it's like, what am I gonna consider in place of her? You know, we can swap her out, and yeah, he's got some options, and it kind of sets him up at a spot of like, all right, do you want to give me more force by walking onto this point? Like, what are you thinking?
All right, so he elects to not activate Cassian, which makes sense. He pulls the next card, which is Shatterpoint. He's doing Bayesian Chirrut.
Name a better duo. Bayesian Chirrut and a Shatterpoint card.
It's pretty good.
It's a pretty decent combo. You should try it out.
Yeah.
Especially under Cassian. Come on.
Yeah.
I remember.
I mean, if there's something you want out of the beginning of a struggle, right? Shatterpoint of Bayesian Chirrut.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Like, they're kind of one of those pivotal pieces here in a rebellion list now, where you know, I talk about like the linchpin choice on what you want on your Shatterpoint card. I when I'm building a list, I almost want to have like maybe 2 people that I'm choosing for that Shatterpoint option, and when I'm looking at Rebellion, it's now Bayesian Chirrut as one of them. I think there's such an incredible activation. The other ones that I'm thinking of are Rex, DTE, and Bo-Katan, like I mentioned earlier. Those are like your... And anytime they activate, they will be doing something productive. So having them start the struggle out is probably the best idea you can do.
I mean, it's ugly though, right? You're looking at it, you've got one objective in the middle that looks like it has 3 Republic guys on it.
Yep.
But there's a world where, I mean, I guess he could try to, where maybe if he gets the wound on the Republic commandos and he wounds Kiadi Mundi, that it could be the big, like a fairly big swing for him, but
mm-hmm. I mean, he's got the dice to do so.
Yeah.
You know, that's what the nice little thing about flipping the stance for a free focus, getting all those extra dice. Come on.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? This is the activation you want.
But okay, so I think if he made a tighter movement with Chirrut so that he could have stayed out of melee range, so that he would have had the option to shoot at the other Republic commando. So, because I think he really needs to wound the Republic commandos here.
Yeah. And they're only sitting 2 damage on them with the hunkers. It's a tough spot to be in.
And that is a lot of fails.
Okay.
Right? And so this is what I was just talking about. Like, you can't rely on one attack getting them.
Yeah.
And now Chirrut doesn't have an option to attack them.
Yep. I'll be the first to tell you, that is not my favorite roll I've ever seen.
What? I thought you loved rolling fails. Nick said that Jake loves rolling fails.
No, I love rolling expertise, and he can attest to this. In the game that we played the other day, I had a roll with 1 hit, 1 fail, and 8 expertise. That was certainly something.
Yeah, we joke around here that I have an expertise aura, where if I stand too close to a table, then like more expertise starts showing up.
Well, it was the first game that I played coming back from Adepticon, so maybe that's it. It's like you rubbed off on me a little bit.
There was a lot of rubbing off on you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let us be very clear.
Okay, so so here again we're talking about the cascading effect. He's now using this 10 dice Chirrut attack on the 501st. Something that should really already be wounded.
Yeah. That's not something you like to see.
Yeah. Like you got a 1 health 501st.
Yep. And then we're getting the roll that we looked for on the first one.
Yeah.
That's rough. That is rough.
Yeah, that is definitely it. That's definitely a tough spot.
I think this is one of those bits where we have been put on the back foot.
Yes.
As the map flip did not give us any favors here either. And something else to consider is, why are we looking at that map choice when the other option, you look at the bottom 2 objectives, right? And what you can do there is force Dean to try and move his entire list to the other side of the map. And right now, that you have your Shatterpoint card and you have your Cassian card ready to go. Cassian, all he really needs to do is walk up, sit on that back objective, and take a shot, right? And that's all he needs to do.
Yeah, I mean, you could make the argument that maybe Commander Redwolf should have taken the other layout, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you like Luke starting off in an objective, right? But, you're not having the commandos starting off on a point, right? Where you can at least go, hey, I know I got Shatterpoint. I know I can do Baze and Chirrut. They can both guarantee me, 2 points, and I got to get some damage out.
Mm-hmm.
Where it feels like it would not have been crazy for him. I don't remember the exact layout. Obviously getting to that kind of bottom right one, and it's not perfect. Now I'm curious if there was any really interesting flip.
Yeah. It's just it's a tough spot to be in when the 2 map options that you have are not doing you any favors. And the worst part is you're playing Sabotage. So if you're looking, you need to try and snag this in 2 struggles. Otherwise, option 3 of the map, you don't get to choose. Yep. And that will, screw you out of so many games. And I know Sith Emperor Kevin can attest to him knocking me out of the recent ACGT because of that exact thing. And I brought Sabotage. I have not brought Sabotage since.
Yeah. There's an interesting world here where he could have Shatterpointed Bodhi, right? And
that would be a very interesting world.
Right? Where you Shatterpoint Bodhi, you get to dash Cassian up. He is a spy. Or no, you'd have to get within range 4 of Cassian. Nah, never mind. That doesn't work. Sorry, trying to be creative here. Trying to let the juices flow.
Well, that's Bodhi Rook, the pilot you're talking about.
Yes.
I was all ears.
Yeah.
I still think that for next year what I need to do is make some stickers that just say the pilot and have those sitting at the stream table. So it's just like, hey guys, here's how you can upgrade your Bodhi Rook cards.
You should fully cosplay as Bodhi Rook.
I don't know if I should do that.
I feel like the answer is definitely yes. I'll ask
I feel
Nick.
like the answer is if I'm going to do a Star Wars cosplay, it's either going to be Mandalorian armor because that's sick.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be Hondo because what else am I known for? Other than Hondo shenanigans.
Bodhi might be the more comfortable of the costumes.
Sure, but with Hondo, I could probably just make a jacket, make a helmet, call it good.
Let's see. So I think it's interesting. Both of them pull Shatterpoint as their last card.
Yeah.
Well, basically last.
it was on the bottom of the deck. Having the Shatterpoint card ready to go on a new mission flip is definitely not going to be favorable for either side.
Yeah.
But it's also favorable for both sides. So it's just a matter of whose dice agree with them more.
Here, we've got a mistake. I think Dean has forgotten that the 501st are wounded now because they just got wounded and they've been alive up until this point. And so he Shatterpoints Kiati Mundi. He was taking the dash on the 501st, but the 501st is wounded, so he's not affecting scoring. I think now he absolutely has the ability here to dash the other commando onto the point so he could take control of it. Now the dash for Kiati Mundi is fine because I heard them say that that's what the Shatterpoint card, the Shatterpoint trigger for the mission gave him a dash. So he dashed, moved, and now he's attacking Luke. Luke does not have the force for the jump. And Luke did also not flip to his defensive side. So even worse.
It's a rough spot to be in because this list seems very force conscious, right? And you've got Callus who likes to provide those rerolls when he can. And Luke is able to provide a force, but you can't really think about that as a force refresh for your team. That you just think about that as him granting his own ability, right?
Yeah.
It's the same way that Baze and Chirrut do it, where it's like even if they're wounded, they're going to get themselves a little bit extra force and then they can do it. If you bring Callus on the team, something you have to be considering is like that is your reroll pool. You need to be able to do everything you can outside of your rerolls.
Yeah. The problem here is I think we're coming back to reserving Cassian cost of force that is really coming back to backfire for Commander Redwolf.
Yeah. And I mean, Dean's sitting on, 7 force, so he's got everything he needs to do and work with. He just made it through his entire deck and still has one at the ready.
So because he has no force, he's feeling like he does not have any way to take a point there. And so he goes ahead and concedes because he's just not going to flip anything. Man, tough rap, especially like I don't know how people feel, but like if you're going into it, like I definitely just don't like losing first thing in the day, right?
No.
You know, start of the day, I was like, can we just? I know like whether you're gonna win worlds or not, you're like, can I just not lose the first round? But it's gonna happen to 4 out of 8. But overall, very, very cool matchup. I was really thankful that both of these players let me record the game. And it's cool to see Koon and Kiati Mundi showing up in top 8 at Worlds. Do you have kind of any closing thoughts on this game, Jake?
Give Koon a chance. I think he's a very, very neat piece that, yes, he kind of lacks an identity, but I think everything else in his kit provides some tools that not a lot of people remember or expect. And I think he's a really neat piece. And Dean absolutely proved how useful he is. I will die on this hill. I think he's a fun character.
I have not actually played a game with Koon. My next game of Shatterpoint will have Koon for you.
I think you should.
For the sticky bug. But anyway, big shout out to everybody at Adepticon. It was such a wonderful time with the Shatterpoint community. People came out in force. Shatterpoint had a ton of people. Momentous Struggle was streaming the fuck out of the whole thing. They recruited the StickBug for some commentary action, only making the whole thing more special. And like the players, it's like especially top 8, right? Like Dean and Commander Redwolf were both just so awesome to talk to, and I really appreciated them, letting me record. And, we'll wrap things up there. Jake, thank you for doing commentary with me, my man.
Absolutely, man. I enjoy doing this stuff. So if you ever want me to back, if it does well, if you need me back, Guys,
Hey,
make sure you
I
subscribe.
brought you on for the one that doesn't have Boss Cassian mirror, right? Like I brought you on for the one that's bound to be hype.
Well, but the issue is those are two of my favorite characters. They just happen to be really good right now.
Fair. All right, we'll wrap things up there. Viewers, I would just love some subscribes. Give me some subscribes. Help me hit that 1,000 mark. Appreciate you so much. I look forward to doing this at more conventions and events. Maybe I see you at Evergreen, maybe at LVO, or maybe in next Adepticon.
Later.